89.3 and 88.5 Yes FM. Also broadcasting on the internet at yeshome.com and on your smartphone through TuneIn Radio and Wonder Radio.
Right now we're going to the phone lines where we are joined by Andy Mineo. He is here to talk about his debut album, Heroes for Sale. Andy, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Tommy?
Not too much, man. Hey, appreciate you joining us. Getting up early, I probably.
Rolling over, you know.
I know you probably not used to getting up this early, so we appreciate you getting up. Every time we get an artist on the morning show, I'm always happy. They always want to go on the afternoon show. I understand, though. Well, this is pretty exciting. You have obviously you've been around for a while. You've been doing a lot of work. Worked with Tadashi and Ambassador, Flame, Lecrae, and now finally getting your own debut album out, Heroes for Sale. Tell us about the process of getting this album out.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey, man, a long process. This will be my first studio album. It's going to be, hitting retail stores, and the journey started, signing with Reach Records the same year that I graduated. I graduated college, City College of New York here in New York City, and signing with them. And it's been about a year and a half, almost 2 years. So just traveling with them, performing, seeing the world, ministering with them, and now, after all that time, I've been compiling music and finally get a chance to share everything that's been on my heart and on my mind for the past couple of years. So it's been a long process, but it's been an incredible one with an incredible team of people over there at Reach Records, and we're really excited to give the world this project.
How much of it was it a blessing to be able to work with people like Lecrae and Trip Lee and Flame and all these other guys and learn from them along as you're getting started?
Oh, man, it's been invaluable, man. It's just, you're learning from some dudes who've been in it for a really long time, who really love God and who are really incredible artists. So that combination, it's just been extremely helpful because not only can I come to these guys to ask them for artistic advice, I can come to them and ask them for advice on how to be a better leader, advice on how to steward the platform that God has given us better. And so I'm really privileged to call them, friend and mentors and guys that I really look up to, and have them speak into my life in a real way. So invaluable, the relationships I have with them for sure.
Yeah, and you'd be hard-pressed to find better examples for how to, use your art for ministry than guys like Trip Lee and Lecrae, and they've really just done amazing things.
Exactly.
So tell us about the album Heroes for Sale. Is there a theme? Had God laid something on your heart that kind of was a theme that wove through this album, or was it more just taking the songs as God gave them to you?
Yeah, I think this last year or so I've been really burdened with the idea of heroes, essentially. I think that the reason why I want to name this album Heroes for Sale is, I use a little bit of satire to say, we create heroes in our culture and in our hearts and in our minds out of people. You know what I'm saying? We exalt people to a place that they often shouldn't have, and expect them to be superheroes for us in a way that only God should. And also we try to dress ourselves up in order to pitch ourselves to look a lot greater than we really are, because we want to be perceived as something, as only God should, which is, an untouchable superhero. And so I wanted to kind of take a little shot at that and say, hey, look, we're not as great as we think we are. The people that we look up to aren't as great as we think we are. But the good thing is we don't have to be great if our God is. And with that in mind, I was able to say, I know that I'm not so great, but I know that God is changing me and transforming me. And it left a lot of room for me to be really transparent on this album and speak about my struggles, which I hope are going to be relatable to both the Christian and the non-Christian. And not only do I share my struggles and things that I've experienced in my life, but I'm also able to share the hope that I have in the midst of those things, which is ultimately in Jesus.
Taking that message of hope or of humility, into the hip hop arena, that's a pretty radical move because we know so much of hip hop is around self-aggrandizement and building yourself up. To take that move of humility, that's a pretty radical move in that arena.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble, but we're hoping that it'll pay off in the long run in aiming to connect with the most people. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna lay myself out there on a few of these songs, but the hope is that, it'll connect with people's hearts, you know what I'm saying? And they'll be able to say that sounds like me. I can admit that.
Yeah.
If that's so, hopefully the answer of hope that I have in Christ will be an encouragement to them or a challenge.
Well, we like that. We like guys who take risks. There's enough, cookie cutter corporate music out there. We like guys who take risks. And, I mean, you got risk all over. You start the album, here's a hip-hop album, you begin it with a hymn. What was the decision behind that?
Well, I really, one, I love the hymns, man, and two, I really think that hymn embodies everything that I want to say on the album. And then three, the interpretation of the hymn was just incredible. It's artistically just beautiful. And I'm a guy who's willing to say, I'm willing to pull from different genres and different styles of music, and let them come and meet the hip-hop world, because I think that's hip-hop has always left space for people to do that, for them to sample other things, or for them to go and dabble in a different genre and bring their own hip-hop twist to it. So we've been seeing that since, Walk This Way, Aerosmith, Run DMC, we've been seeing it, ever since in all kinds of different ways. So for me, you're going to hear a bunch of different styles and genres mixed in together, from heavy metal to gospel hymns.
Very cool.
It's all on there.
Yeah, well, I think that's what keeps it so vibrant and so interesting, because you can do there is so much flexibility within hip-hop to bring in classical and hymns and heavy metal and all these other genres.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
We're talking with Andy Mineo. His debut album, Heroes for Sale. Andy, tell us a little bit just about your testimony. How did you come to know Christ, and how's God worked in your life?
Yeah, I grew up in a single-parent home in Syracuse, New York, upstate, and, I was around church things often growing up because my mother is a Christian, and so I'd be with her. But I don't think I ever really got to hear the gospel, and if I did, I didn't hear it in a way that had affected my heart. And so I was kind of a troubled kid, got kicked out of school, put in, juvenile detention centers and behavior modification centers. And so one summer, my sister was going off to a Christian camp to go be a counselor, and my mother just was like, please go with her, get out the house, So I went down with her to this Christian camp in Port Jervis, New York, and that was the first time that summer that I got to be around a bunch of guys and other Christians who were able to explain the gospel to me. They were really able to talk to me about how Christ had come, and he came to die for my sin and to take responsibility for the sin that I should be paying for, ultimately to give me new life and new hope and a new relationship with God. And I finally began to understand what the gospel was about, and my heart was changed. So that was my first encounter with Jesus for real, was that summer between 7th and 8th grade. And I came back home, just knowing that God had done something in my heart drastically, because I had love in my heart for people that I had hated my whole life. I had new desires in my heart to honor God and to want to live for Him. So He saved me then, and ever since then, it's just been a journey of figuring out how to walk with Him daily, how to grow with Him, and now it's been a journey of figuring out how to mix my passions for music and my desire to know Him and make Him known, and a lot of that is what you get in this album. Is a Christian who happens to rap, and who now wants to share the hope and the joy that I found in God through my music.
Had you already been rapping a little bit when you came to Christ, or was that something that came after?
Yeah, no, I had been rapping. So I had, about 10, 11 years old, I was rapping parodies of songs. Me and my friend Ryan, my best friend Ryan, we were, recording little raps that we wrote on computer mics onto the computer program we got. And, my affinity for rapping started then. So I'd been rapping for a long time. It's just that the content started to shift as my heart began to change.
Doing the parody, doing the whole Weird Al thing.
Yeah, it's right parody and having fun, man. Yep.
And Andy, we're going to play a song here, your first single off the album, Ayo. Well, tell us about this one.
Yeah, Ayo really is just it's a fun record, man, and it's an invitation to say, to anybody who, is a Christian or isn't a Christian, to come and check out this lifestyle, this unashamed lifestyle. I shout out 116, the movement in here. I'm on that 116, and that's saying, I'm living unashamed of the gospel. And we want to show people what it is to live out, this lifestyle of, being unashamed for God. And so we want to just invite people to come and check it out and to come and kick it with us and to enjoy all the things that we are able to enjoy in God. And, we don't want to create a little Christian bubble that keeps people out, but we want to invite them into hearing this good news. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Hey, yo, come kick it with the team.
All right. Andy Mineo joining us. His debut album, Heroes for Sale. You can hear him regularly on the wrap-up right here on Yes FM. This is his first single, Ayo. Hey, Andy, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely, Tommy. God bless you, brother.
God bless.
Yes FM.